In 2017, popular OAP Freeze has come under a lot of scrutiny from Christian leaders for his views on church-related issues, Titan being one of the major. We've compiled a list of 7 reasons why you should probably believe everything that the Free the Sheeple movement leader preaches, and Daddy Freeze is on hand to explain further. Number 1, he wants us to stay woke and be aware.
Yes, you've got to stay woke. A mind is a powerful tool. It's powerful in your hands, and it's also powerful in the hands of anyone who could be manipulating you and using you towards their own selfish interest or selfish ends, as the case may be. So yes, you've got to be woke 24/7. 365.
Number 2, in an era of false prophets and church leaders, he advises Christians to give to people in need instead of enriching so-called men of God.
Remember, there are people out there who have been trained to say those things you want to hear. You're in a crowd and the pastor is preaching and everyone's like, he's talking to me. He might be talking to you, but is he speaking on God's behalf? You've got to be sure.
Number 3, in spite of all the backlash, he continues to be courageous in his preaching.
It's not easy to stand against an establishment that is several hundred years old. An establishment that has its hands in politics, has its hands, very powerful hands, I will say, in almost everything. It's very hard. I stay courageous because I believe God sent me a little messenger to carry a word.
Number 4, his preaching is enlightening.
I tend to show people things that have always been there, but they just never took time out to notice. So that's why sometimes it seems that I'm enlightening you. What I'm telling you has always been there. I remember I was discussing with a pastor, we're discussing tithe, and I told him about Deuteronomy 14:22-26, and I told him what was there, and I saw him flipping through his Bible in a hurry. I was like, wow, you're a theologian, you're a pastor, you actually have a big congregation. Don't tell me you didn't know it was right there.
Number 5, followers of his Free the Sheeple movement end up wondering why their pastors have been concealing the truth.
Instead of us to follow that path and build upon the framework Jesus left for us, we actually went back into the temple, into the Holy of Holies. That is why we have so much sacred stuff in church today. And because there's a lot that has been kept sacred, a lot of preachers do not share the truth with the congregation, maybe because they're scared that if they knew the truth and were woke, they probably would not come to their churches the way they came, or probably would not come with as much money. So I think it's because of the way they were thought. We're here to change that mentality. If you want to preach to anyone, you must show them everything.
Number 6, he preaches mental independence.
So each person is in a situation as an individual, not as a crowd. So you've got to be able to figure out what works for you personally, in line with the Bible. Then you've got to understand what works for you as a society. But what these churches tend to teach us is they want us to think with one mind so they can have us as a fold. You know, when a shepherd leads a sheep, when he leads sheep to the pasture, he takes all of them to, there's no special pasture for anyone. You all go to the pasture. But among the sheep, they're individuals. And until they're able to sort themselves out individually, they're not going to be able to sort the whole flock out.
Number 7, his preaching is heavily backed up by the word.
I tell my congregation, I tell my followers, I tell anyone that wants to listen to me, if you don't find it in the Bible, don't listen to it. There are some things that we all do not have clarity upon as human beings. There are some things that we might not agree with wholeheartedly. But if it's not in the Bible, I do not present it. So everything you've heard me preach, everything, not some things, everything is biblical.
These are 7 reasons why you should probably believe everything that Daddy Freeze preaches.